Hi, Mike DePung here, and I welcome you to Spirit Hill. This channel is all about healing, and healing implies that there's been trauma, that there have been things that we have experienced that have hurt us, that have created wounds in some way or another, and that's okay because we knew before we ever got here that that was going to be part of the deal. We are expressions of spirit incarnate. We are divinity ourselves. And yet we are wounded goddesses, wounded gods. And we are here to effect healing for ourselves, for this middle world. And I want to just mention something about calling Earth, our life experience now, this world of physicality, the middle world. Because there are other worlds, unseen worlds, and there are unseen energies and entities from other worlds, and even ones here that attend to us in this world. And it's possible because of who we are to know these other worlds and other energies. And I'm not going to expound on what I believe these worlds are, but I will tell you this, that there's the other world that we can each enter into that is our own very beautiful place, an interscape, as it were. There's the lower world, a world where ancestors and all that have been before us inhabit and have created rich fertility, that have created treasures for us to absorb from our roots. And then there's the upper world, the world that we think of, where there are angels and ascended ones and all these beautiful spirits and entities. Because of my seeking, because of my healing, I have had the opportunity to travel to these worlds. Yes, I haven't gotten in some kind of capsule or vehicle, but it's all here, and it's all here. And why we come here, to experience here and here in relationship to all else. So, when I think of healing, and when I think of the things that I have learned over the course of my life, and especially over the last 11 years, how I have navigated among the worlds, I inadvertently came to realize that I am an intuitive shaman. I haven't followed a line of reasoning. I haven't been trained by any individual or any line of, but I have known personal experience these energies and entities. Ones who I could name, but I don't need to do that. And I don't feel like right now they would want me to do that. But I will tell you this, it's essential for our personal healing that we come to realize who we are. And that macro version, that big picture is that I know who you are. It's the same as I am. We are divinity. We are spirit incarnate. But then there's this micro version where we say, yes, here I am. And whatever your name is, whatever names you have assumed for yourself, whatever titles you have assumed for yourself, you realize there are traumas and wounds, and it's navigating these worlds that helps us to understand those things and to heal and to know love. And we come here for that reason, to know love, to be love, to express love, to feel love. But it's love that takes these multifaceted views of life, and we look at what goes on around us, and sometimes it only adds to the trauma, the hurts. But I will tell you this, for all the things going on in the world, for the war in Ukraine, for those who have been deceived in Russia by thinking that it's some kind of righteous act, for those who live in places where there is hunger and where they have to flee from people who have chosen to live by ego rather than heart, who have willingly sold themselves to ego energies, which means they live in lower life frequencies. They hurt, they wound, they destroy. It's for all of these things, for things like have happened in the United States in the past weekend and over the past couple of weeks where the realizations have come. Mass shootings, babies not able to be fed because of a shortage of formulas. So many things that we could go into, and that perhaps in future videos I will look at, because I have very strong feelings, and the feelings that I have come from an exploration of myself, my heart, and where I feel this. And what I'm feeling right now is that there's this desire from my very gut to tell you that healing begins with this, not with looking out at the world, but looking into self. And that begins with exploring self. You know, in relationship to this, and I didn't know when I started if I would read a poem that I wrote or not, but I think I'm going to read it right now. And I want you to understand, as I came to understand, and I realized the value of understanding this, that this middle world is a world of amazement. It's a world where even though all these things go on because, and the things that we didn't want to experience go on because ego's part of being here, and so people who sell themselves to ego create these things. But that doesn't mean that you don't face and realize that the ego within you, the ego that is within me, is the very thing that has necessitated healing. So we look to heart, because that's the other energy we come here with. And we look to heart, and we realize, we see, we awaken to the beauties that are inherent in the creation all around us, the richness, the intricacies of it. And we realize that all the history, all the billions of years of history, and the, I don't know, tens of thousands of years of life, of human-like life that have been here, have all added their energies together, and it's all of this lower world that we can draw from. There are treasures there to learn from. And specifically, those who have been in our lineage have given us the opportunity to call upon them. They speak to us. And you know, we can, and I am big on science and what it says and on knowing the facts. But the way that those facts are used and the way science is used is not disassociated from the metaphysical, the soul, the heart, the complete us. And so I can't say that science tells me that if you can't see it, it can't be. If you can't create an experiment about it, it can't be. No. Science and the depths of science tells me that all that is within me, my ability to create my world, my life, what I want can be aided by the factual science. But there's this deeper science. This poem that I wrote is part of it. So I'm going to read it. And I may just leave it with you. I may say a few things afterwards. I don't know. I'm not sure. But here is what I want to read. It's called The Breath of the Ancestors. The figure stands alone, not lonely, listening intently for something, some strain of sound he senses. Where does it begin? What soft whispering exhaled by the gentle east breeze does he hear? Now the whisper rises to a light melody, the leaves on the branches joining the composition. He never heard this music, but he recognizes each bar and anticipates each note as the warm smile crawls along his lips. Someone skips within, a child who finds his way to the smile, which grows as does a symphony, movements becoming distinct. The child comments softly, "You know this music? For this is the breath of the ancestors. Their music, the movements of their lives. They play for you. They invite you to continue the composition." He listens, breathes. Enraptured, he hears his breath begin to keep time and harmony with the growing gust of the east wind. He hears their whispers again. Oh yes, awaken, sing the soul song, sing with the child. The breeze stops. His eyes open. Cardinal flashes his red as he alights on a branch close to the boy. Bird sings, insists he hear, see, feel the happy soul song. The tune is familiar, and as he leans against oak, the east wind wafts the tune once again. The breath of the ancestors bid farewell, as he, awake now, hums the soul song of self. When we seek healing, we look within, and when we look within, we find we have heart, that essence of divinity within us. The essence of divinity expressing here in this middle world, in this physical world. And that heart essence can connect with these other worlds, with the entities, with the breeze, with the wind, with the birds, with the animals. They all have essential energies too, and they speak to us. Those of indigenous cultures know this in great ways, sometimes much greater, but it's not limited to any culture, to any race. It's there for us because each one of us is an expression of Spirit incarnate. Each one of us can connect with these energies of other worlds, can connect with the other worlds. We can travel and negotiate and find our way through them and find our way to healing. And that's what they're there for. They're there for just the expression, just the happiness, just the joy. Our healing is one of entering into the joys of why we came here. And that's what I want to leave you with perhaps today. I don't know what will land with you. I don't know what will make sense to you. What I do know is this is all very real. What I do know is we can hear the voices of ancestors. We can hear the voices of spirits, the spirit of trees, of rocks, the spirit of wind, the spirit of the waters, of earth herself, of the sun, of all of these elements of nature. And you know, when we start relating to that and healing within, then we realize this translates into healing that the collective needs. But you know, for today, for now, I'm going to stop there. If you have never heard that heart voice within your voice, the heart that can connect with ancestors and connect with these other worlds and the spirits of all that are around us, of all these elements and energies that are around us, then you need to stop. And I would encourage you, and I don't say you need to, let me put it this way. If you want to know healing, if you want to know happiness and peace and joy, even though you're still going to have distress, and even though there's still going to be traumas, yet, and when I face them, I know this. I have known who I am, and I know energies that I can call on to help me through it, and I still go through it. But ultimately, I know it's not a dead end. Ultimately, I know it's not exasperation and resignation to what is. What I know is that I am divinity, and I can and do work through these hard times, these traumas, and I work through them for joy, to happiness, to realize the richness of the darkness in the lower world, to realize the heights and the ecstasy of being able to connect with all that is. We are a unity. We are one with the elements. We are one with each other. Once we accept that seed of truth into ourselves, and it's a seed that begins growing, then we can look at one another and see all the beauty within one another. And we can look at all that has been created in this world, and we can say, yeah, healing is needed. And this is what I have to offer. This is me. What lands with you, take and run with it. Use it, heal, enjoy. Find your happiness. And it begins with knowing self. I leave you with this. Till next time, love and peace.